Most people only see the end result of consulting work, the strategy, the growth, the clarity. But what they don't see is behind the scenes structure that makes that client experience smooth, stress-free, and actually transformative. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain and share how I create a client's journey that not only delivers results, but also makes clients feel seen, heard, and supported. Because strategies cannot be just cookie cutter strategies. Every business is different, just like people. So let me show you how I make my clients comfortable to make their vision a reality. Let's get started.
Mommy, help me. Please.
Hi y'all, it's Angie, your favorite business strategist. How are you? I hope you are having a magnificent week. So today I want to talk to you about behind the scenes of how I actually make everything work for my client. Client experience isn't just good manners. It's a business growth engine. Remember, referrals and word of mouth is what keeps, because happy clients result in referrals, testimonials, and repeat business. A great client journey reduces churn and frustration from both sides, because great communication can just result in great delivery, in a great outcome. Let me tell you a little story. I had a client, a very frustrated client, come to me saying, hey, I work with a different consultant and my business is making money and now I'm able to break even. But the problem is at the end of the month, I break even. And then next month, I have to start all over again. Like, I have no idea how to even grow to scale. So, help me. So, we sat down, we talked about her vision, we talked about her goals. But not only that, we came up with strategies. And, with strategies, you have to try them out. And if it works, great, you keep them, right? But if it doesn't, you got to pivot. And so, what we did was we created strategies, and based on those strategies, we started trying them out. But then it's not just about creating strategies, right? It's actually like writing them out step by step. What does this strategy mean? Like when you talk about, like, let's do a marketing campaign. Okay, great, let's do a marketing campaign. But what does that entail? Like the actual step by step for implementation. You get to think that with me. And I sat down with her and we went step by step on each strategy before implementing it. Then we implemented it. Then we saw what worked, what didn't work. It took us 3 months, y'all, to get to see the light, but we saw the light, which was the huge step. Now she doesn't have to worry about how am I going to meet my next month's expense, because nobody that depends on their own business wants to have that feeling, wants to have that anxiety, right? So like being able to be transparent and show her every step of the way is huge for me and for her and her business. So let's talk about my process. You can apply to yours. I break down my process in 3 parts. 1, onboarding. 2, systems. 3, offboarding and follow-ups. So number 1, onboarding. So this is where we establish the baseline. We establish like this is where communication occurs, right? During onboarding, we sit down and we talk about what is the client wanting to do? Where is, like, what is their point B? If they're standing in point A right now, what is their point B? Right? Like I need to understand the goal, but I also need to understand the vision so that meeting that first goal can connect her or him to the next goal, right? So it's extremely important to be transparent. It's extremely important for clients to be extremely candid and open with me so that I can think, and I could always think of the next goal with the big picture of the vision that they have. So a lot of times clients have a vague idea of what they want to do, but they don't have a specific idea. Like they say, oh, I want to make 20% more on revenue, or I want my business to get to this next level so I can open another business, or they just simply want to have more engagement, right? They just want, there's a new business and they just want to be seen, they want to create awareness. So it really depends. Again, there's no cookie cutter structure or strategy that can be applied to businesses. What can be done is, you have, because different businesses not only different in businesses, but they're in different stages, right? Some businesses have been in business for 40 years, right? So they already know what's up. They just need help in certain things. And then you have businesses that just started and literally they're like pivoting constantly. So you really need to know what you're dealing with, like who you're dealing with and what the client's goals are, right? And once you have that, then what you do is you audit the business together with the client, right? You audit the business and you see where they're exceeding and what they're short. And here is like, it's great because you learn about their competitive advantage, you learn what they're missing, what the struggles and challenges are. And so you build from that. Now, in this case, notes are being taken in every call. Like the calls for onboarding could take from 1 call to 3 calls, or meetings if they're close by. I have clients that thankfully they're close by and I just go to their business like on a weekly basis basically. But what I'm trying to say is that you need to build, like you need to create a report. And before I start charging, I need to understand what their goal is and if I can actually get them there. So once I have a clear understanding of what their goal is, right? Notes are being taken, everything is being like put into paper. And what I do is I create these call memos every time I meet with a client, written down, and those notes are sent to the client, right? For clear transparency, like a transparent relationship with the client. I think it's super good. It's worked out really well for me. And also I'm able to take tasks out of it, right? Like to-dos from those calls. So note taking is super important during these calls. Now, if you want, you could use like systems that do that for you. It's even better, it's even easier. So you really focus on the calls or the meetings instead of taking notes. So depends who the consultant is. All right. So once we have the whole idea, then we go into signing. Yes, there is a contract on the timeline, on the expenditure, and on the to-dos, on the deliverables. This is a contract binding in the state of New Jersey. And yeah, and then we move on to the actual work. So then we go to then number 2, systems. How do I keep the actual project going? Is I am super organized with Motion. I enter my entire project into Motion, and Motion will designate time slots in my system. So this is what Motion, I can't live without it. And I actually have physical check-ins with my clients on a weekly basis to know where we are, what is being worked on. I have a client specifically that we are doing so many things, and I don't just have meetings with them just for the sake of it, just to show face. I actually have meetings so that we can actually keep this moving because it's a huge project. So those meetings, not only do I keep myself accountable, but it also pushes the client to like see, oh, this is really happening. I have to get ready for the next stage. Like it's like a mental reminder for them. So this consistent touch points allows the client to never feel lost and never feel alone and never feel like they're paying for a service that is useless, which is huge, especially when you have no previous relationship with a client. Because with me, I don't just deliver. Like, I feel like a consultant. I know I'm talking about me, but I think this is good for every profession. It shouldn't be just like you deliver a project and you're done. It should be like you deliver a project and you follow up. Did you read what I sent you? What do you think of it? Give me feedback, because that's where the actual like secret sauce is created, right? Because you could be the most amazing project manager, you could be the most amazing consultant, but if you don't have solid feedback from your client, it's really hard to know if you're on the right path or not, right? Because sometimes they'll see what you're working on and they're like, oh, something is missing, or this is incorrect. Like, you need that constant feedback, and that constant feedback builds strong rapport and strong relationships, which again in a consultant world, like it leads to client retention, referrals, additional projects. It's just great. Anything to keep the client with you is awesome. Number 3, offboarding and follow-ups. So once, like in my own consultancy, what we have strategy building, but we also have implementation, right? Yes, I only have clients that just want to build strategies and they want to do it themselves, right? Because it's additional, it's like a different service. It's a lot more hands-on because you're actually driving the implementation of the strategies. So offboarding and follow-ups are super important. Just because the implementation side is not being, what's the word, touched, it doesn't mean that you just leave them, okay, bye, goodbye, that's it. Like it's this is like a relationship. It's a relationship business. So you have to, you create strategies, you provide what you said you were going to provide, you deliver what you said you were going to deliver. And what happens is, first of all, the deliverable package needs to be cleared, right, in details, and indicate all the strategies and implementations and the possible outcomes and the etc., right? Like everything. What works really well with me is the fact that I'm able to follow up in a week and say, hey, did you take a look at it? What'd you think of it? Did you start implementing it? What's the timeline? Are you really following that timeline? And what I do is I follow up based on that timeline. Let's say like that strategy is supposed to be implemented within 2 weeks, and then like performance is to be seen in 2 weeks, and then review is supposed to be seen in like another 2 weeks, so like a total of 6 weeks. I'm following up every end of that 2 weeks just to see where they are, because I want to make sure that there are no questions on the delivered package from their part, but also I want to make sure that they're actually doing something with it, because that's literally where growth takes place. Growth only happens if you actually action. If you just have a book there chilling and nobody actions it, you're still in point A, never going to get to point B. Again, remember, consultant work is not one and done. Like, unless you've had an issue, like, which is very possible. Hey, we're all human. Like, you should always have a relationship with your client. So follow-ups are a must. What I really love about my work is that in consultancy, clients are not just buying a product and they're leaving, right? They're just buying business strategy and moving on. They're buying confidence, clarity, and a direction. But most importantly, peace of mind. Knowing that somebody's with them, knowing that we got their back, knowing that they can talk to us like in a very transparent way and we'll be there to support them. It's almost, think of it almost like us, like a psychologist for business, because we all go through the same feelings, and just having somebody to just hold your hand, it's so much better. It just makes the journey smoother and easier for the business owner. Hey, I understand. I have two little girls, 4-year-olds and 1.5. And I constantly have this struggle in my head. Am I spending enough time with them? Am I doing this right? Is my business, like, my life is full of guilt on a daily basis. So just, thinking or knowing that I have somebody on the other side supporting me and cheering me on and just literally wanting for my business to succeed so I could be a solid ground for my daughters, huge. Cannot emphasize that enough. It's just, having empathy from somebody, having a structure that somebody develops, it just having that clarity to move forward. It's just so much easier. And let me tell you, I live it every day. So I understand, and it just makes life so much easier as a mom and as an entrepreneur. And I've seen this firsthand. It's huge. And this is probably one of the things that I love the most, is that when clients feel supported, they don't just grow their business, they grow trust in themselves. That's a huge win. So let me remind you, a great client experience is not just about adding fluff. It's about creating structure that drives results and makes clients feel valued. If you're building a business, take a step back and ask yourself, what does my client experience feel like? Because that's just as important as what you deliver. Thank you so much for sticking around today. I hope you have a great day. And don't forget to share, comment, subscribe, and save. Can you save? I'm not sure. But don't forget to subscribe. Oh, and if you have any other questions, comment below. And if you're more interested about business strategy, I got these videos for you. Have a great day. Bye bye. See you next time.